On Sunday, May 8th, Mother's Day, New Face Promotion presents Retro Bingo. Retro Bingo, up to $5,000 in cash. 5 $200 games, 2 $500 games, 1 $1,000 game, and the jackpot $2,000. Retro Bingo going down at 178 Newport Street. Music by DJ Flawless, No Apology, and DJ Hot Stepper. Your tickets cost $40. More at the door. For more info, call 347-304-5453. Zelle or Cash App is accepted. Start time 7 p.m. It's Retro Bingo. Mother's Day, Sunday, May 8th. Lots of giveaways for the lady. Retro Bingo, up to $5,000 in cash. Sunday, May 8th, Mother's Day.
Well, it's on Ride Along, so it's happening here.
Came over here. What does it mean? You know, I grew up in what I guess we call a typical family.
We break all the stories. And that's just a fact. And that's why everyone has a story to tell.
Right Along Live, I mean, yeah, it's the real deal.
Hey! Night Riders! Good night, Riders! How you guys doing? Hope you guys doing well. Welcome to the ride. Welcome to the ride! Tuesday! Yeah, Tuesday on the ride. Hello, Jesse. Let me see who came in first. Amanda Gidhari. Hey, big up yourself, Amanda. Big up yourself. Glenda, Renee, how you doing? Welcome to the ride, guys. It's Men's Summit. Yeah, Men's Summit. AKA everything you need to know about a man right here. We have a panel, and today we're going to be talking about a lot of things. And women, I don't want to let us say, well, what happened to Women's Summit? How you can't have Women's Summit? We're only talking about men's stuff. Yeah, we have Women's Summit as well, and we have Battle of the Sexes. Women get an opportunity to talk. Men get an opportunity to talk. All right? But today, we have a panel of my friends, men, who will share some experience. Those guys and them, you see them? They're ready. They are ready. Yeah, they're ready. Let me introduce my first guest. He is no stranger to the ride. He plays Jab. Once Carnival lunch, he played Jab every Monday. Jab Moses.
Good afternoon.
Big up yourself and welcome to the ride, Jab Moses. Big up yourself.
Blessings.
Yeah, man. And of course, he's no stranger to the ride as well. He's a mass man. He's I don't know if it's too safe to say he's a promoter. Yeah, he's everything, man. He's everything. Give it up from Monty. Hey, Monty. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, man. Right.
Good to be here, Junior.
Yeah.
Good to all happy to be here with all your listeners.
Yeah, man. It's a
So it's going to
vibe.
be an interesting conversation.
Always an interesting conversation, man. When come together and we talk about things, and women and them, they'll be listening because they want to understand what's going through men ahead. So they'll be listening and they're learning, and them younger ones and them younger ones and them as well. There's an opportunity for them to learn, know about more about themselves based on the conversation that we have. So, Monty, how you doing, my friend?
Boy, I just did, as old people say, poke, no beef.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. Moses, we asked you for a little bit, man. What you been up to?
Well, we're preparing right now. We have just a couple of more days, about 10 more days until the launch of Carnival. I just been prepping, getting my hat ready, getting all my equipment ready. Forming. I doing a little bit of formation of a team right now because we're going out on the road strong this year. We ain't get Carnival for 2 years, and the anticipation and so much people that are coming to Grenada is just exciting. It's a good feeling to finally be back out on the road again.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of preparation and working, at the same time. Yep.
Yeah, man. So you're ready and up and things like that. All right, guys. So I want everybody to share the program right now. Because these are some of the topics that we're going to try to talk about today. The first one that we're going to be speaking about is about a real man. All right. What is a real man? Because oftentimes women, when they speak, when they come on this program, when they talk to their friends, they talk about, they want a real man. But what really is a real man? We're going to talk about it. Some women say, listen, I want my man to come home with that money, put that check right on the table, and I go take care of it. The women and them, that to them is a real man. Pay all the bills, take care of the woman, take care of the children, take care of what you have to take care of. That responsibility is yours. That is a real man. So we're going to talk more about that. Also, we're going to talk about this situation. Someone brought this to my attention, and I think we should talk about it. Now, this young man, he is in a relationship where his girlfriend constantly goes through his phone, right? Although he changed password, whatever he do, she's still going through his phone, and he wants her to stop. There's a major trust issues. He wanted to stop, it's just not stopping. The last time she went in there, she saw some conversation that she shouldn't see, and the relationship is like on a rocks right now. So he wants some advice how to get her to stop going through his phone. And last but not least, we're gonna try to get to this one. The woman say that, he wants to get married. The woman wants to get married. They both agree that they want to get married. She wants a big elaborate wedding. He put aside $16,000 aside. That's for us to get to build a house and live our life. She wants to take that money and put it into the wedding. And he said, nah, it don't make no sense. She wants a big wedding. He wants a small wedding. How could they save the relationship? The relationship is on rocky grounds because they can't come to an understanding of what to do with how to make the wedding, big or small. Spend the $16,000 or save it for investment into later life. So this is what we're going to be speaking about. And of course, we got you guys. We go open up the phone lines for you guys to chime in as well. All right, let's go straight into it, guys. We ain't wasting no time. Monty, let's start with you, my friend. Bam! Women say they want a real man. A real man. When you hear that, Monty, what are you thinking? What is a real, you a man, what makes you a real man?
Well, Junior, let me start off by saying this, right? I tend to not try to dignify the statement of, especially because normally when you hear that, it comes from women talking about a real man. And I tend to not want to dignify such statements, right? But if I have to really go into what a man really is, first of all, I would like to point out, a man is an adult male, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
An adult male. It's just simply that, right? Men comes in all different shapes, sizes, attitudes, right? It just so happens that a lot of women seem to gravitate towards what we call alpha males, right? You have beta males that, for instance, some women gravitate to as well because not all women, they're not a monolith. So some people look for somebody that they could control and dominate. So there are women that, for instance, look to get a man that they could control. But there are women that say, okay, you're not a real man if you're not an alpha, right? So and just to go a bit, because I tend to not dignify the statement of a real this whole thing about a real man, because most of the times you hear people talk about a real man, they always mention it in a derogatory way, right? It's always to be condescending, it's always to try to be shaming and belittling men, right?
Right.
To say, okay, you're not a real man if you can't pay my bills, if you can't do that. And if you look at what sometimes the some women even categorize as a real woman is that if you're buying your own clothes, you're driving your own car, and you're paying your own bills, you're a real woman. That has nothing to do. Finance has nothing to do with being a real man or a real woman, right? Real man, being a real man or being a woman has to do with your character. It has to do with the way you were socialized, right? And and it goes back to what I said, that they come in all different shapes and sizes. Now, I may have a certain set of, I was socialized to believe a certain set of qualities is what I need to make my household strong, to keep my family unit strong, right? And at the end of the day, that's my definition of what a real man is, right?
Right.
To take the lead of my family, and just a bit, because people might say, okay, I may not be clear, but let me just make it absolutely clear. In my household, I am the head of the house. I always wear the pants, even when I'm in the shower. You understand? So even when I'm naked, the pants on, right? And I there's no bones about that. When it comes to my family, I have three kids. I have a wife, right? And at the end of the day, when it comes to the decision making, right, that is where leadership comes in. And some people see it as, okay, because you say you're the head of the family, that means you make all decisions. A good leader always seeks counsel from his partner. So that is another attribute of what I would consider being a man. Knowing when you may not have everything, you need to get sometime a different perspective when it depending on what the issue is, right?
Right.
You could have the biggest company, for instance, and the company, the boss always need is subordinates. He need his team in order for him to be successful. It's no different. It's no different with even with a family.
Family. All right. All right.
Yeah.
There are a couple of things here I want to come back on, but let me jump to Moses. Moses, in your definition and your understanding, what is a real man?
I think this would just be my personal opinion. I think a real man is a male who is masculine, who takes responsibilities for his actions and his decisions. He's also a leader. A real man is somebody who is in a leadership role, who's actually taking care of his responsibilities, his immediate circle, his people, his family. A real man is somebody you would consider to be a role model in society, somebody that you could look up to and say, like, as a young man, this is what I want to aspire to be.
Right.
But just by looking at the way that he reacts to people, that he goes about living his life, I think the whole concept of being a real man, it's complicated. There's many different levels to it, because a lot of women would say that they need a real man would please them emotionally, sexually, mentally, psychologically. There's so many different layers that women would look for in a man. But obviously, we are not perfect. So I think it's more so a man who can keep a balance and portray that masculinity and be that leader in the relationship. I think that is some of the characteristics of a real man. But go ahead.
Finish your thought.
Yeah, so I think saying a real man, like, it's kind of broad.
It's kind of vague.
Yeah, it's really big to just decipher exactly what a real man is, because obviously, given the situation in another country, like for example in Africa, let's say Ethiopia, there are certain tribes in Ethiopia. The man is the head of the household, but the woman is the one who's responsible for building the hut and taking care of the children and doing so much things around. So I think it differs based on the location and what the society deems as what a real man is. Because in different societies, men have different roles, you know. So I'm not saying that it's confusing, but it's based on where you grew up, what type of society you're in, and what role you have to play, and what has been instilled in you from the elder generation, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So someone said, and I just throw that out there, see what you guys think about it. A man cannot be a real man if he's not employed or able to bring home the bread. How much does money and income and influence and the ability to work have to play into if a man is considered a real man or not? And you know, more and more I say it, I don't like the term real man, because I figure like
It's very derogatory.
yeah, it sounds derogatory, right? Yeah. When you kind of say a real man, you're not a real man. But let's just keep it to that. If a male is unable to bring home the bread, he's unable to work or not able to find a job, do you think that he still could be considered or should be considered a real man? Not that he can't, but he don't want to.
So
you could go first, sorry.
Yeah. So you're saying that whether a man that is not bringing home the bacon, as they call it, if he can be a real man if he's not doing so, in a sense, that's what you're asking.
Right. Yes.
I totally agree that he can still be, as I say, and I fall into the trap of seeing this real man, but bringing home the bacon or bringing home the bread, as you put it, right? To me, is not the be all and end all of your masculinity, right?
Right.
You can bring a lot of other things to the table, right? There are men now that, for instance, depend on the circumstance, they may have, let's just go with the pandemic. A man could be unemployed because of the pandemic, but he might be contributing in so many other ways, right? Because you may have had a two-parent household that both parties were working and one is not. So are you saying that because he's no longer working, he's no longer a man? Anybody who prescribes to that, to me, is their thinking is very flawed. Because whether you have kids, the contribution you're making into shaping your kids, shaping your household, is the same thing that Moses was talking about. And I alluded to earlier on. It's about socialization, and we as a people, we discount the importance of socialization so much. Socialization is one of the keys to what determines what our society, the direction of society goes, right? The things that we are allowed to become socially acceptable is what becomes our culture, right? And so if we socialize our men or as a people, we socialize to think that, okay, in order, you can, for instance, be a stay-home father and take care of your kids, you know, something is flawed with that, because there could be different circumstances that can make you end up in such a situation, right? So, as I say, bringing home the bacon can be, and there'll be so many other things. A man may not be working at 8 to 4 job, but he might be the man that would fix everything in the household. And there's financial implications to that. If you do have to hire a plumber, hire an electrician, hire whatever, a carpenter, and there's financial implications to all of that.
But you know, a lot of women, and I opened up the phone lines early so the women could chime in. A lot of women have been speaking here, and they say, nah. A lot of women feel, are not all, but some women, they are the opinion that if a man is not able to work or bring home money, he's a waste of time. He's no good.
I'll tell you what, I'll go back to the point that I was making earlier in the fact that based on the society that you're in, you would consider that to not be a real man, or because obviously, think about it, Junior. In the first world countries right now, right? The system and the society isn't made up for a single parent family to survive per se, right? So how it would look on the outside is that women are thinking about how they can have a sense of security, right? And obviously on a daily basis for transportation, for food, for bills and all of that, you need dollars, you need money, right?
Right.
So I do get the fact that a lot of women, based on where they are located, based on the society that they're in, they would deem a man who is not bringing the bacon as unproductive and not a real man. I get that to a certain extent. And going back to the point that, like, obviously, you could have money, right, and still not be happy in a relationship. And we're seeing that. Look, the richest men in the world, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, they have so much money that they don't even know what to do with it.
Right.
That doesn't dictate happiness. I think it's more so you have to have a balance of different things. You understand where I'm coming from? Women these days are obviously going to look for somebody with a strong financial background, because this is what they have been told from their foreparents or their peers. Look for a man who have a car. Look for a man who have a house. Look for a man who have a six-figure job. This is successful. This is what you should be going behind.
Yeah.
But obviously, a lot of these women, they seek that out, which is the 1%. And all women are looking for that. Well, I wouldn't say all, but a majority of women are looking for that 1% man, that high earner.
Yeah.
But it doesn't dictate happiness. It doesn't dictate if the family is going to be functional, if the family is going to be successful. There's a lot of different things. I feel like even with spirituality, being God-fearing, a lot of these things have a lot to play into the relationship, how you grow your children. If that person has good morals, good backgrounds, a good upbringing, all of these things have a lot to do with if a man is real or not.
Well,
so
are we really getting trapped in this real thing? I wish you could change. You can't.
Okay, let's say a good man. A good man.
Right. Okay, a good man.
A good man.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. and women, I want some women to call in and validate this statement or speak about this, right? Because we had a conversation the last time on the last Women's Summit, and they were saying that they're not no builder, or they put it, some builder, meaning that they're not gonna find a man and help build a man to where he needs to be. He needs to come already with the material. They're not no builder, no whatever they call it, Bobby builder, whatever they call it. Hold on, let me just put someone, just call them. If I could put them over on the live. Yeah. So they say if the man have all this drive or all this energy or all these ideas to do something, she wouldn't date him because she's not gonna build a man. Right. She's not going to be a part of building him up to where he needs to be. He needs to come correct with where he needs to be. That's how he needs to start the relationship. What you guys think about that?
So I just want to say one thing about that. I feel like to a certain extent you have to look at the journey, Junior. Right? Some people want a finished product, right?
Right.
Some people rather struggle in the journey and build together. And I believe it makes a stronger relationship when you can come up from rock bottom and build together. Each one help each one. You understand where I'm coming from? Because my strength might be my wife's weakness.
Yeah.
And her weakness might be my strength.
Point taken.
So for example, a man is hard working. He's a construction worker, probably an engineer, but he's not so good in accounting and paying his bills on time and making sure that everything is copacetic.
And that way the woman come in. And the
woman would come in and make sure that ends is taken care of, and you have a balance in the relationship.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But if some people, as I was just saying, Some people want a finished package, and some
Yeah.
people rather to build together.
Yeah.
And it's based on what you see as well too. You know, in life, sometimes if you see mommy and daddy struggle together, but they stay together and they love each other, and you always see, even though mommy and daddy don't have nothing much to give you, but the love that they share together and the unity grow you up to be a person that would appreciate that in life. You look for somebody not for what they have, but for who they are and what they could bring into a relationship.
That's a point
right?
we're taking there.
Because
Hold on, stick up in there, Moses. Stick up in right there. We got a call that I'm holding for a little bit. Let's take and then we'll come back. Caller live, where you calling us from?
I love to say anonymous.
Hello?
I'm sure you know. I love to say anonymous. I'm
caller
sure you
live.
recognize the voice by now.
Hello? It wasn't get cold feet. All right, call
we
back.
was hearing it. We were hearing it.
Oh,
She
shoot.
said
Sorry.
anonymous.
Hold on. I cut them off. I wasn't hearing anything. I apologize, caller. Call back.
Yeah, she was saying she wanted to remain anonymous.
All right.
She said
Okay.
you knew the voice already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, caller, you live? Are you guys hearing her?
No, none.
Yeah.
So far,
Okay, caller, go ahead.
Okay, I just got into just a short bit of what the gentleman was saying.
Yes.
And my take on it is I would not date a man that has nothing to bring to a relationship. And when I say has nothing, I could understand he's in a season in his life where he has not been there financially as yet.
Yeah.
But I cannot date a man who doesn't have vision. It's important to have vision and have a purpose in life. If he has vision and he has purpose, then he is just broke financially. But his mindset is at 100 because he has vision and he has purpose. Now, that's somebody I can work with.
Right. So let me ask you a question. Let's go back Let's go back one. What is a real man to you?
Okay.
What is a real man? What do you
A real man is
define as a real man?
To me, a real man is someone, as I said, who has purpose, vision, can cultivate me as a woman, and I can have him lead me as a woman. That's a real man to me.
Okay. Could you date a man that doesn't have the financial backing, but he does?
As I said.
Yeah.
As I was saying.
Yeah.
He may not have the financial backing because people go through stages in life. It could be a season where he is broke. And I understand that because things happen in life. I can date someone who has a vision. He can be broke, but still has a vision and has purpose to where he wants to go in his life.
Right.
He has a mindset where he knows some of the steps that he wants to take in order to better himself financially. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But a man who doesn't have vision or have a purpose, has no clue the steps he's going to take to better himself financially, I cannot be with him. I cannot date a man like that. What is he bringing to the relationship? How is he going to cultivate me as a woman? You understand? How is he going to lead me as a man?
Right. Guys, any question for the female?
Well, actually, I fully agree with what she's saying. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? It depends on the circumstance under which a man may not be working at the time, right? And that's why I alluded to the pandemic. A man just could be going through, as we say in the Caribbean, he could be going through a bad patch. But if a man is intellectually sharp, and you could see he has that drive and that motivation to get himself out of that rut, you know, there's a difference in there's a difference in having for a woman picking up a man, for instance, that just want to sit on the block all day and smoking a weed or whatever the case may be.
Exactly.
That, I don't prescribe to that, because at the end of the day, you can't go through life, not making any substantial contribution to society. I would never endorse that as a man on no level.
Right.
You understand? So I agree with her, right? But just to strengthen the point I was saying is that it cannot be based on finance. And too often I think that seems to be the the overriding criteria. And that's why I don't like the term real man, because it always is, most times is used in a derogatory manner from women, either trying to belittle a man, you know, and it's sometimes it's just is really not acceptable sometimes the way it comes across, you know. But I agree with her.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between a male and a man.
Okay.
There are a lot of males out there who will sit on the block, smoke the weed, has no vision, has no purpose. That's a male.
Yeah.
A man is someone who has vision and has purpose, know where he's going, know what he wants to do with his life, know the kind of what he wants to contribute to a relationship. That's a man.
But can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'd like to ask a question, right? Because you said that a man, wouldn't you agree, right? Whereas, and a lot of women gravitate towards what we call in the industry as alpha males, right? A man that has a vision and he has a drive and here, right? But wouldn't you agree there are a lot of women that gravitate to what we call as beta males because they figure they can control them, right? And they could manhandle them and could manipulate them, right? No.
Right.
And I would prescribe that this is a recipe for failure, because at some point in time,
it is
that same woman is going to want that man to stand up one day, and he just would not know how, because because the same reason, because there will come a time when she wants him to stand up and maybe whether it's a defender or whatever the case may be, or you know, but they are women. So you see, that's why I made an original point. Men come in all different shapes, size, attitudes, whatever the case may be, right? And that is why always, you know, I am always careful to use this term real man, because what we define as a real man, there are other women outside there that are going after what we call these beta males because that's what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who are we to tell them that that's not a man? And who are we to tell that man that he's not a man?
Caller, you were saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of to each his own, which he's just saying that we can't tell anybody that, you know, the man you're with is not a real man, or the man you're trying to build with is not a real man. It's her perception of what a real man is. But at the same time, I guess people's perception comes from experiences and what they learn growing up, or how they look at what's been taught to them, right? And it also depends on how a woman view herself, her worth, okay, what she thinks she's worthy of, right? So that's why you have like a lot of the confusion or the back and forth about what a real man is and what's not a real man.
Right.
But if you were, I don't mean to go back in the biblical days, a real man doesn't have to do with anything about being an alpha male. You understand? A man's supposed to protect, provide, you know what I mean? Be able to lead a woman. He's the head of the household.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how I look at it. That's for me. I'm not speaking for every woman, but that's how I look at it. But I'm saying I can also see the confusion why women think that a certain man to them will be a real man. That's based on experiences, based on probably what they never had. They probably never had a father figure in their life. You know, it's a lot to contribute to how they think about certain things.
But you know, you just described what we call the traditional man from as you went back to the biblical days, what we consider a traditional man, right?
Exactly. And not a lot of that exists.
Yeah, but here's what.
Because of the world we live in today and the culture has, you know, it's different culture now, right?
But that same definition that you just put out there as a traditional man is some of us say men that they're calling us toxic, and they're talking about toxic masculinity. You understand? So sometimes it's like, okay, it's like, and I don't want to make men and women, but I find it sometimes rich that, and I'm not saying that this is what you're doing. I just want to make that disclaimer, right? Because I think you're very articulate and you've been making really good points. But I just find it strange sometimes how the conversation always, a lot of women, when you listen on social media, women always seem to want these traditional men, but they're not traditional women. They're not traditional women.
And that's what I do agree. I do agree. And that's why I would.
Yeah, so that is why I find it rich, because they're not traditional women, they're not feminine, they're not even willing to be show any to be submissive. You understand? So you want a traditional man.
To some women, submissive is a bad word.
Yeah, they look at it as slavery.
Yeah. How do you, if your husband say you should be submissive to me, how do you look at that? How do you look at that terminology?
I look at it in a respectable manner, as a form of respecting him as the man of the household. It has nothing to do with slavery. It has nothing to do with manipulation, because there is a lot of men out there who has the wrong idea of having this woman submissive to him. He's thinking about in a manipulative way. He's thinking about in a controlling way. That's not how it's supposed to be. Right?
Yeah.
It has to do in the form of you respecting me as a man of the household, to guide you, to protect you, to lead you, to cultivate you as a woman. Right? That's being submissive. Let him be able to do that. Allow him to do that for you as a man.
But in order for the man to exhibit that he is someone that you could be submissive to, that he could take control, he have to exhibit the criteria. You have to exhibit the personality. You're not gonna give up your right, not right, but your lifestyle for someone that you don't feel that could finish. Like that person have to be someone that could.
Come on.
But what I'm saying, in other words, right? I am. This is my trend of thought. I think that in a relationship, both men and women should come together, and they should meet each other 50-50. I'm a 50-50 kind of guy. Right? I don't
know what that means.
Not Junior.
I'm probably wrong, but that's what I see it.
But what that means, I don't know what that means. It could never be 50-50.
I don't know who come up with this thing about 50-50. That could never be. Junior, it could never be.
Thank you very much for saying that. Thank you very much for saying that.
I don't know who come up with that.
Society we live in.
I don't understand.
The society we live in today is about 50-50. And yet still the men who are asking the women to be submissive, but yet still asking her to go 50 with him on bills. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. No.
But then again, it's the culture.
Go ahead, caller.
But then again, it's the culture that we live in. It's what we live in today. Things have changed so much, and there's like a whole confusion about it's supposed to be 50-50. But traditionally, it was never like that. Because we live in a world like that today, I am not going to wrong anybody that wants to go 50-50. It's up to them and the kind of relationship that they have. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and say it's wrong.
Right.
And I'm not going to sit here and say it's supposed to be that way.
Right.
But there's also a lot of confusion about it because a lot of people don't see it that way, and a lot of people see it that way.
Yeah, when I say 50-50, this is my trend of thought. I'm thinking, okay, well, if there is a point in time in our relationship that I am flat on my back, right? I expect you to pick up the slack. Similarly, if you are flat on your back, because we all go through the situation, I should be able to pick up the slack as well. So it's a 50-50, meaning that we all have a responsibility and we all there to come together as one to help each other get to the finish line. We all in this together. Right? At the end of the day, it's all of us together.
Supposed to be.
It's not you by yourself, and it's not, she's going in by herself or he's going in by herself. It's all of us coming together for one plan.
Yeah.
The goal is for all of us to succeed together as one unit.
Exactly.
Junior,
and that's what a relationship is. You're supposed to support each other in whatever you do. If you decide to come together and be in a relationship, you should be able to support each other at whatever it is.
Samantha say more like 80-20, 80% women and 20.
That is Samantha perspective.
Okay, I'm going to take a leave now because I'm sure there's a lot of other people that want to call in.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you so much. Yes.
So my point is, Junior, right? You see this 50-50 and 80-20 thing? We have to stop putting numbers and we just have to cooperate. If you want to be in a relationship, there might be a point in time that even as the breadwinner of the family, you
Right.
as the man, you might fall on your back, end up in an accident.
Exactly.
Yes.
So why should we have this conditional kind of narrative towards a relationship when even the wife who's contributing 50% of whatever, she could fall on her back too?
Yeah.
Trouble doesn't make up like rain. We don't know when we're gonna fall in an accident. We don't know when we can't use we hands and we legs no more. We have to stop with this concept about 50-50. Listen, back then, Junior, we grew up in a poor society in Grenada.
Right.
When grandma and them wake up in the morning, whoever they go and find the wood for the fireside, one go and jug water. People had to learn how to play their roles in relationship.
Right.
And just communicate. There might be a situation where the bills come up and something came up and the man don't have the 50-50 to put towards the bill. Is that woman going to say, hey, you don't have the 50-50 this month, so that's it, we're done?
No. That she take the slack. She pick up the slack. Hold on a second, Job Moses. This caller, she called earlier. We didn't get her. Let's see if we can get her up now. Caller, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, sorry about that. I cut you off earlier. I wasn't hearing you, but everybody else was hearing you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just calling in response when you asked the question, if a man doesn't want to go out and work, if that makes him a real man. First of all, there are circumstances could create a situation.
Right.
We don't know the reason why he may not be working at the time or at the moment. All right?
Right.
And vice versa. There are a lot of men, they're working, they're living with their wife or their family, and they does not give the woman a dollar, not even to pay a bill. What difference does it make? At the end of it all, we have to motivate them, encourage them, and help them to be a better man and a better person. We cannot judge him whether he's not working or not, because as I said, there are men who are working and they don't give a sardine according to we granny. So that's my contribution.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Monty, you're laughing.
Yeah, because it goes back to the same 50-50 talk, because I made a point that women want traditional men, but they don't want to be traditional ladies, right? Now, the 50, you cannot tell me, right, that you want 50-50. 50-50 means that we are going to split the bills down the middle. Everything goes to 50-50 is 50-50. But
all
if you look, but if you look at a lot of these average women that want the traditional man is the breadwinner. That's what they want. They want the man to be the breadwinner. They want to have a job, right? And their money is their money, and the man money is we money. You understand? That is how a lot of women see things. You understand? So when we're talking about 50-50, I think it's just
go ahead.
50-50 is just used conveniently, right? In the context of when women want to talk about I guess decision making, and they want to see, because they always look at this as though if the man is the head, as though they under his thumb, or as though he goes. That's why you have to be, when you're picking your partner, right? You have to take responsibility for the partner that you pick. You understand? If you go and you listen to me, how much times we have a dog breeding, and we want a dog to breed with a good breed, but you go and take the mangy dog.
That's why they say you make your children, you don't make their mind.
That's true. That's true.
So you deal with the repercussions of your choices.
Yeah.
You know.
Let's take this call. Caller, you're live. Where are you calling us from? Hello?
Yes, hello, Junior. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm Marsha. We went to school together.
Oh, we went to school together?
Yes.
Okay.
Chatting.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. I'm calling regarding the statement. Hello?
Okay, we lost her there. Call back. a lot of men, well, one of the problems with men is that they didn't grow up with a father figure, and they learn everything in their life from their friend down the street, right? That's a major problem, because what we see is that some men don't even know how to be real
good men.
They don't know how to be good men. They feel that what women want is a bad boy, and that's probably true. Some women probably give that vibe that that's what they want. They want a bad man, a shatter.
But hold on, Junior, before you continue, that same thing that you were just saying in regards to some men not having the right father figure to mold them into a good man with good moral values and upbringing,
right?
It actually is the same thing for women as well, too, Junior.
Yeah.
Who teaches the women in society how to be good women?
True.
Yeah.
Look at how society has broken down. Nakedness come like the new thing, the new trend, the new fashion. Is that really good moral values to be showing out all the things that your man's supposed to be seeing? The way that the toxic masculinity, the way that they talk to men these days, the way that women are independent and say that they don't need men because they can make money. Is that really sometimes our parents made more money than our dad, but they never pushed that in their face because they grew up in a traditional family where they know that they had to communicate and they had to work together. Because back then, yes, they understood their roles, and back then it was a unity of families, right?
Yeah.
Right now, it's more so people just kind of picking and choosing who have money and who could pay the bill, and if he look good, he tall enough, if he can please them sexually. I think it's so hard to please a woman these days, Junior.
Yeah.
That men are so simple. We could just live with one chair in a house, bathroom and a toilet, one towel.
Yeah.
But with a woman, Junior, yes, you might be able to give her that financial stability and security that she can feel safe, that she has somebody who could provide for her and her family. But then she go come and tell you that he just ain't putting it right in the sack.
Yeah.
And he ain't spending enough time at home.
Yeah.
So she end up talking to the guy who they on the block who's smoking weed and they not have nothing else to do. He had a time to give her the attention that she wants. So sometimes it's more so a form of convenience there. You understand?
Yeah.
That's how I see it. It's based on what's convenient to a woman. She will accept and go with that man. But most of the times when they're making that decision, it's because they haven't been molded from a motherly figure who has moral backgrounds and upbringings, who can say, hey, this is how you have to dress. This is how you have to portray yourself in society. This is how you have to speak to the people. Because if you grow up in a household where you never hear mommy shouting at daddy, you never hear mommy and daddy cussing, you never see them fighting or embarrassing each other, you're going to be instilled with those values, Junior. You're going to be like, wow, look how mommy and daddy functioning. Well, why do I have to cuss? Why do I have to fight? You understand? So sometimes it's based on the society and the people around you that mold you into. Look at these days. You're seeing little kids cussing the biggest set of bad words, but where they learn it, Junior, where they learn it.
Yeah. You come back to home. Come back home. Let's come back to the phone line right here. We got a call online. Caller, your line. Where you calling us from? Hello?
Yes, good afternoon again. The call had hung up.
No problem.
Calling. Now I have two different statements to make. The first one is regarding the statement where the guy said education start at home with your parents. I completely understand. But as children, a lot of children grew up with one household member, either their mother or their father. And they seen how that parent struggled. They seen the sacrifices. To me, they always say you have to learn from experience or you learn from others. So if I see my mother or my father went through certain trial and tribulation to raise us, why would now I go put that symbol with him on my picnic. You wouldn't do that. You would have to learn from others. You don't have to go through the same mistakes that your parents made for you to learn. I mean, you don't have to go through it. You would learn from their mistakes. So
Right. Go ahead. Okay.
Did we lose her again?
Yeah, we lost her again.
You should say that.
Oh, caller, you're back, but we didn't hear you cut off a little while there, so we didn't hear what you were saying.
Okay. What I was saying is basically you could learn from bad mistakes so you won't repeat the bad mistakes, because you don't necessarily have to learn from the good to not make bad mistakes, but you could learn from the bad mistakes to make good mistakes. Because if I live in a one-parent household, I would see my mother struggling. I would make sure when I pick a man, it would be a man that's not going to be like my father. I'm going to pick a woman that's not going to be like, vice versa, like my mother.
But sometimes, funny enough, you end up picking someone just like your father. Sometimes it happens that way. You grow up on for years saying you're seeing this situation happening, and then you get in that situation. I heard a lot of stories like that. Women end up being in abusive relationship, just like how they've seen their mother abusing their father, their father abusing their mother.
Yes, it's some type of psychological aspect that you are going through that the person never addressed.
Right.
Me, I don't want anything. I don't want any man that's gonna be like my father. If I see the little speck of it, I'll run away. Or I don't want to be like my mother in a relationship. So if I see I'm like that, I usually tell a guy, if I know my bad qualities, if I'm showing them more than my good qualities, let me know so I could fall back. And then another thing that your panelist said, you can't ever please a woman. That's not true. You can't please a woman.
Yeah, all you had to please, though. All you had to please. All you had to please. All you had to please.
No, Junior, that's not true. That is not true. It depends what kind of man you
can
are.
Speak for herself.
Back in the days, Junior, guys had multiple females. They still have them now. But the only difference is men there's two things. Number one, they knew where home is. They always come home. They're not going to sleep out 2-3 days and come back like everything is okay. They have multiple females, but they always come home. That doesn't happen now. Now, guys disrespect their home with their wives, with children, like there's no tomorrow. Number two, if guys have multiple homes, guess what? They have the finance to support both. These guys nowadays, they are broke. They are waiting on they're waiting on females, like they always say. Men nowadays love nurses. Why? The nurses a lot of them go to work at nighttime. They're not home. They give the free reign, for the guys to do whatever they want. But the point is, you can't afford one household. How are you going to manage a second household? So don't go there and start cheating, and you can't even afford both. Do what you got to do, and then just stay with one. So they don't have the finance, and they don't have the skill, but yet they want to still roam around and say females are hard.
My question to the caller is, Junior, my question to the caller is, what about the females who see that the man has a child with a household and still have unprotected self and sex with him and get pregnant? You're just continuing the cycle. I feel like it has to be something that you learn. It has to be a moral upbringing that listen, this person, yes, I'm attracted to them, but they have something going on with the next family. I'm not going to just intertwine myself inside of that. But women these days, they see the red flags. They see all of the red flags.
And they know it.
Still go into the relationship.
Right.
They still go into having money or not.
But Moses, you said they see the red flags, right? I would like to add something to that. I think it's more than that, right? Since I know myself, I always hear men are dogs, right? And we have this caricature that men is the worst thing under the sun, right? I think the problem, and I think Moses has hit the nail on the head, right? If men hold men accountable, right? I'm all for that. You know the problem I have? Women never hold women accountable. You understand? No matter what circumstance it is, there's always a reason why she did what she did. You understand? And I've always been an advocate. And I always advocate that women need to start taking responsibility for their actions. Now, is like what Moses was saying, right? I said it earlier. That's why when you pick in your partner, you pick carefully, right?
Mhm.
And it comes back to how you were socialized. And for persons who don't understand what I mean when I say socialize, what you saw growing up, what you saw your parents did, what you saw your cousins and your brothers and people in your community, what became socially acceptable. If you
Mhm.
live in a community that it is socially acceptable to be a street walker, then if it's socially acceptable that everybody on the block and they're smoking weed, then that it becomes socially acceptable, right? And two, I find there's just too much that has become socially acceptable for women, and they do not call out their peers, right?
Mhm.
It's always the man's fault, right? And I have a serious problem with that. And it's just a continuous moving of the goalposts, right? You want a traditional man, but guess what? Every time a man opens his mouth to push back and say, this is not what's supposed to be, they come up with a new term,
Mhm.
right? To shame you or to shame you into submission, right? Because it's like, for instance, if you're in a relationship with your peer, and your woman even put on a little weight, and you say what, you're putting on too much weight. They're not saying that is body shaming. Tell me, tell me, that is
Mhm.
body shaming, right? So you can't even tell your peers, no, watch now, you're putting on too much weight, as though obesity is not an issue. All of us go through it. All of us sometimes at some point in time, but we have to work towards curbing the situation. But instead of we dealing with issues, and that is just one example, there's a lot of them,
Mhm.
right? There's a lot of them. Every way if a man push back and say, listen to me, and he tries to be a strong male, or he try to give his influence, he's a toxic. It's toxic masculinity, right? You can't keep up. You cannot keep up with the terms and keep up with all the different types of abuse now, right?
Mhm.
And I think it's
What
being
happened to the
driven
emotional
heavily
abuse?
by
Why could
this
that put
feminist
females?
ideology.
Mhm. Call out what you were saying?
What happened to the emotional abuse that men put females through? For example,
I hear
let's
you
go
now.
back again. Like he said, we should, hold each other responsible, and especially females don't call females out. I completely agree with you. However, me personally, I've met men. They would stay in my face and lie to me and would say, "Oh, I'm not in a relationship. I don't have a wife. I don't have a girlfriend." Or if they do, "Oh, it's not working out at all. I live in one place, she lives in another place." There's always an excuse why their current relationship is not working and why they should have a new one. And sometimes they will have a whole family back in another country. And the female that's in the same country as them, the female they're pursuing, doesn't know anything about that. But and then later on when she's all in love and now her feelings is, too far gone to be detached. And all of a sudden, well, what can I do? Either you stay or you go. But if
Right.
you would have told me, that information to begin with, listen, I have a wife and children, a family back home, that's where my heart is, but I am lonely here. If
Yeah.
you could accept that, fine. If you can't, then that's fine. But men lie. They would say they don't have anyone. I know someone
Caller, let me say something. Let me
Women
say something.
do.
Hold on, hold on. Let me say something. Let me say something. Hold
I
on,
know
caller.
someone
Yeah.
personally. Wait,
Let me
wait,
say
wait.
something. Listen.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
If you in your 30s and your 40s or within that age range and you come up upon a man and the man tell you you don't have nobody, he don't have no attachment, nothing like that, let me tell you right now, that's a lie. It may not be so. It may not be so. But anybody, a man in his 30s and 40s and have nobody at all,
Okay, I know someone personally. He told
or
that
haven't
guy,
had any
the person
attachment or
that
have
I know.
no attachment whatsoever.
But listen to the lies that guy told the person that I know. He told her that the female he's living with, because the female was a little older than him, that's his aunt. That's his aunt. He doesn't have kids. So then they continued the relationship, or whatever it is. come to find out now, when the aunt keeps seeing, because I guess she's, a little older, so she's more reserved, but she's not happy about it. But when they keep seeing those two together in town, now she's getting upset. Like, why are you parading your girlfriend, around town, and you're my man? And then by that time, my friend is already pregnant, with his child. Now, what do you tell that lady? Like, is it her fault? Just like your panelist was saying, well, it's the lady's fault. Blah, blah, should have known.
Can I answer that question? Can I answer that question?
All right, caller. Let Eddie jump in on that one. Go ahead, Eddie.
Right? So at the end of the day, I know none of us in this world are perfect, right? But I think I would give ladies this bit of advice, right? The more you can control yourselves and stop going and having unprotected sex, right? Before you end up in a marriage or committed, stop making kids. And you can't throw a stone without hitting a woman that don't have 1, 2, or 3 kids, right? And the thing about it is that none of them are married, right? And then they're wondering why, if you're getting free milk, why buy the cow? You understand? That's why I'm saying, I keep saying, you have to take responsibilities for your actions, right? I understand the human condition. Sometimes, yes, you meet a man and you're feeling the guy and you want to be in a relationship with him. But sometimes some common sense have to prevail, right? You have to be able to, as a person, take a step back and say, watch now, am I moving too fast? How is it? Watch now, this is no exaggeration, right? It is a customary thing to meet women in this day and age, right? And have sex with them in one day. Meet them today and have sex with them today. Unprotected sex.
Unprotected. It's dangerous, man. It's dangerous.
And I don't understand why when women would start saying, right, to themselves and to their peers and so, how is that acceptable? Even if you do decide to be promiscuous, at least protect yourself. So then you don't have to have 3 child fathers or 2 child fathers, and then somewhere down the road, men bad because watch now. Where your responsibility lies in your choice, in picking, in making the decisions you made. When does your responsibility kick in? Did this man hold you and rape you? Did 3 men hold you and rape you? Did 2 men hold you and rape you and impregnate you? No, they didn't. So people could talk a lot about lies and whatever it is. I would advocate women lie every day. Not men alone lie, human beings lie. Right? And every time, sometimes you try to make a point, right, with regards to women and keeping the peers accountable, right, and taking responsibility for their actions, is always, yes, I understand. But what about when this man is always a horror story and a sad story? You understand? You can find them a dime a dozen, a lot of horror stories. But that don't negate the fact that you have to take responsibility for your actions.
I agree with you. It's all about taking a responsibility. At the end of the day, you just jump in, and then a lot of the times that's what happens. Women, they become gullible to the situation. So from my observation and from my experience, women tend to gravitate to what they hear, right? Men tend to gravitate to what they see and what they like, what they're attracted to. So obviously, as a man, even though you have a situation behind, you want to milk the cow, and no disrespect to women, because women are not cows, but just figuratively speaking, you want a piece of the saltfish, Junior, right? And as a man, this woman looks so good, you willing to say anything. You can tell her you own 10 cow, 3 vehicle, just to convince her to lie down for you or to give up the saltfish. It's been happening from Bible days up to now. We come and we meet it that way. And I honestly believe if women continually just go into that cycle and keep complaining, it's like they're not learning. It's like they're not understanding the culture and how men and women act. You can't just have a friend who's saying, "Oh, I got pregnant. Da, 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 da. He said he didn't have this person. Where's the protection? Where's your accountability? Were you planning that pregnancy? Did you plan that pregnancy? Did you put anything in place to protect yourself, like birth control or using a condom? These things are not that hard. Yeah, obviously, Junior, man is man. And we just reach in the situation and the thing hot and the hormones flying and bush bash and thing happen. Sometimes the wine so nice, boop, you get pregnant. But is you know to take the onus and the responsibility to know that, yes, I made a mistake and own up to it. You can't just be bashing men for the fact that you got pregnant. It takes two to tango.
Someone said earlier. Hold on. Let me just finish through this call and then I'll go to the comment. Caller, let me ask you a quick question. Earlier, Monty said about being submissive. Is a woman being submissive to you? Is that a bad word in your book? If a man say you must be submissive to me.
Well, no, like I stated, submissiveness is just an act, and both people have to be submissive to each other, and that's where men fall short. They say, oh, no, seriously.
No, I was looking at Monty reaction.
No,
he almost choked.
No, there will be situations. No, a good leader, no, Junior, a good leader knows when to fall back and let someone else take ahead.
Right.
That's what a good leader is. But men, what they tend to think is being, I guess, a ruler, a dictator. That's what a man is in a household. A man is not supposed to be a dictator. This is not a dictatorship. This is supposed to be, okay, if you're my man, you'll be a leader. So number one, what qualifications do you have as a leader? If I'm going to submit to you, show me that, you have qualifications. Because just like the practice where you got to close your eyes and fall back, I have to be able to close my eyes and fall back if you're going to catch me. If you're not going to catch me, am I going to follow you? No, I'm not. Because you might lead me to the wrong place. Or you might let me just bust my ass and go and you move to the next female. So a man has to learn how to be a leader and not a dictator. Fall back and let the woman take over without him feeling his masculinity is being deranged and sucked out of him. So it goes both ways. Because if I'm in a relationship, I would let you lead. But when I see you falling short, it's up to me as your partner to come and say, either I push you forward and you could continue, or I take the baton from you and you let me lead. And you fall back and you take a break. That's what relationship is supposed to be about. That's a good leader, not a dictator.
Let me ask you. Let me pose a question to Monty. Monty, could you see yourself being submissive to a woman?
Well, it depends on when you say submissive, exactly what you mean. I agree with her that as a good leader, there are times that you, and I said this earlier on, you would seek counsel from your mate, right? And good leaders always, they don't have all the answers. You understand? So I would seek some form of counsel from my mate, from my partner, and see what's your opinion on this, right? If it is that we cannot, right, come to a common ground, does it mean that the decision no longer have to be made? A decision have to be made. So that is why I always say I don't prescribe to always this whole 50-50 thing, because that is not practical in life. There are real life consequences and decisions that needs to be made, right? So you as a leader, you have to be able to make a decision, and whether right or wrong, live with it. You understand? And live with the consequences of it. But I always go to my partner and say, okay, what's your opinion? There's no decision when it comes to my family that I would not brainstorm with my partner. You understand? Because at the end of the day, most of what happens in the family would affect her as well. I would never prescribe to be a dictator and say, do as I say, or else. Come on, I would never prescribe to that, right? And I would agree with her 100% there, right? So when she say submit, so when she says submit, I that's why I don't understand what she means by submit to that is not submitting. Going to get to get guidance and to get counsel from your partner is not submitting. I don't define that as submitting. So
I think
that's
it's the
me, my only.
perception. I think it's the perception of the word submissive, because some women are of the notion that submission is to just, if you say lie down there, lie down there.
You had to lie
Or if
down
you say
there,
to jump, you have to jump. It's not
Bark like a dog.
necessarily
You had to
like
bark
that.
like a. That is not what submission. Yeah.
That's the females only. The men think the same way too. The men also think, submissiveness is, barking or demanding things to get done. So that's why now females with that concept
disagree.
say, well, I'm not gonna do that. So guys have a misconception what submissiveness is as well. But your other panelist said he would get counsel from his woman. So I'm gonna ask you a question. What about if her opinion, makes more sense than yours? Would you take her counsel and move yours to the side, or will you still go with yours?
Well, listen to me. If you ask for an opinion and you ask for counsel, right, and you genuinely want an counsel and the input from your partner, you would take it on board. However, I'm not going to take it on board for the sake of taking it on board if I don't agree with it, if that's what you're asking, right? Because I can ask for your counsel, but it doesn't mean that you always have the answer, right? There may be a time that I could ask you a question and I think, okay, what you're saying, your contribution makes sense, and of course I will go if it to me it makes sense and it has merit. Yes, I have no problems going with your advice, right? But it's never a situation whereby, okay, then what would be the point of asking for advice if you just ask for advice and every time you get the advice, you say, well, I get your advice, but how is I will make the decision. That's counterproductive, But I just want to make sure you understand that it's not because you give, because it's who's to say her advice would be better. You understand? As I said, once it's evaluated and I think that okay, it's a good her contribution is a good contribution, yes, it will be taken on board. And that's what good leaders do.
Agree for her to make the decision without you. That's a part of, again, the term.
Say that again.
I don't really believe in that term, but do you, for example, like I said, fall back and let her make certain decisions without you saying, I'm taking your counsel. She made a decision. She's okay with it, and the decision she made brought it to be better for the family. So would you take that, or would you say, well, you should have consulted with me first, and how dare you, a woman, stay in your place?
No, hold on. Why is your language so? Why is the language you're using those? So that, to me, that's just toxic language. Why would I say to any woman, stay in your place? You understand? First of all, when I pick a partner, I make sure I pick a partner that understands what being submissive is, right? So I do not even have to utter those words about stay in your place. She understands the dynamic of our relationship. She understands what her role is. I understand what my role is. You understand? So if she's I think what I gather from what you say, what if she makes a decision without me, right? I am not going to be always present, right? And of course she would have to make decisions when I'm not present, right? If she makes a decision when I'm not present and I disagree with the decision, it's a foregone conclusion. This already happened. But I will still give my opinion for future reference. You understand? But I would never utter any such words saying that stay in your place and you should, I would give my opinion in the future. I don't think we should do this way. If I think it's something that affects the entire family, our kids, I would say, okay, a decision like this, I think you should have reached out to me for some feedback, because that's what that's what groups do. That's what institutions do. You have to be able to get seek counsel from the heads and make sure you come up with the best decision for everybody involved. Yeah.
So I'll just see why men's summit and women's summit is so vitally important. So we can have these conversations. And I like when we have this meeting of minds where women call in and they voice their opinion, because a lot of things that we're speaking about here, some women are totally against, and some women are also in support of. So it's good to have these discussions, and I encourage everyone, when we see we having women's summit and men's summit, you guys participate and share, because it's a learning experience. Men get to understand men, and women get to understand men a little bit better, and it could possibly save relationships. So that's why we do it. And we're a little bit over that time. Caller, thank you so much. We appreciate you from a woman perspective on this Women's Summit. You must be a panel when we have a Women's Summit. We like your opinion and ideas. So you could be a valid contributor to that program as well. All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right, have a good night.
Yeah, we at that time, but wow, we ain't gonna get to do the others. So we have to kind of wrap up, conclude, and thing like that. Monty, what you say? How we concluding this one?
Well, I would like to say, I think when it comes to, I would always like to speak to the social discourse with regards to men and women, right? And I think we will always move, the needle further. I respect a woman that will come and have a conversation with me and say, okay, these are the issues that I have with regards to whether it's men or whatever the case may be, right? And I can listen and I could take it on board and we have a fruitful conversation. However, I am a bit peeved when I have conversations and I bring valid points to the table and we play this game. I know you are, but what am I? Yes, what you're saying is so, but what he does do? What he does has nothing to do with the point I'm making, and you should need to address the points that I'm making, right? And then after, if you want to address how to rebut and have a conversation about other points, so be it. But I hate it when people always rebut and try to minimize a point that you're making because of some horror story about there always some stories that some man did somebody something and it was so horrible, whatever it is. You're going to find that men have real horror stories, so we just don't have to go and tell Jerry, Mary, everybody, and the whole community had to come like a lynch mob. That's the only difference.
We ego.
Yeah.
No, we are just offend. I guess the men, we just not wired like that. You understand?
Sure.
We just not wired like that. And you see, like how I think often too, if a man is serious about a woman, no man want to go and tell his partner and he boys, imagine the woman that he care about. They sleeping all over the place as though that is like, that's like a stab in an open wound,
Right. Yeah.
No man don't want to depict the woman like that. So that's why men don't have these conversations, right? Unless you have a real cool brethren, sometimes you might have one person there, but other than that, there's a difference between, men and women.
Yeah, but if you look at it, right, in society in general, whenever a man has a mental breakdown or he's dealing with something, people tend to laugh at his situation. But with a woman, women as well as men would console her and show sympathy. But with a man, you getting on? Take on by,
your own partners.
That's why a lot of the times now, a lot of men, they might be narcissistic, they might be controlling, they might be difficult partners, but it's because they're not having these conversations with their peers.
True.
And they are not getting the leadership role around them to see what good men are functioning. So there's a big miscommunication with that whole thing. So I honestly feel that
I like that word you see what I say function? I feel we should adapt that. Functional men.
Functional men.
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
Because
point
I don't
to
like
end,
even a good mentor. Yeah.
Romantic.
Yeah.
to end this whole thing, I honestly feel like this was a really good conversation, and I believe that we as individuals, we as men, we as women in society need to have more conversations along these lines so that we can grasp a better understanding of how we need to cooperate and function and play our roles in society so that we could have successful relationships and we could bring back the backbone of society, which is the family, right?
Yeah.
So, love the conversation, love the inputs. I honestly feel that probably we might make a difference in somebody's perspective. And if we can have more conversations like these, and somebody could have a better understanding, a different perspective, they might be able to judge a situation different. They might be able to approach a situation differently based on the conversations that they are having with men and women in society. So I believe sometimes we have poor judgment, we have lack of understanding, and it leads to the breakdown in relationships and the disintegration of relationships on a whole. So I feel like we just need to have more conversations, Junior, and things will be a little bit better.
Yeah. And I believe as men, we have to also mentor those young boys. Because those young boys, some of them, they don't have a father figure. Not all, some of them, they don't have a good father figure. They're getting advice from the little friend who knows less, who understands less about life than them. So people like yourself and others in the community, sometimes we have to pull up some of them boys and them and talk to them. But you know how it is. You can't talk to people these days because everybody feel they know everything. They want to fight, they want to get, and everybody sabalotodos. They know everything. And it's hard to communicate. Hopefully they pay attention to something other than all the noise that going on and pay attention to conversations like these. That might make them a better man in life. Because even another conversation we could have down the road is how men, please women. A lot of men don't even know how to please their woman. They feel they have they don't quite understand it because they're listening to the Drake down the block, other than listening to experienced men who knows how to do it. So we like to have this conversation. We're going to continue to have this conversation. We say thanks to Jab Moses and of course to Monty Greenwich. Eddie, thank you so much. We appreciate you so much, and we're gonna have another conversation again very soon, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. We need to have more conversation, guys. And you, so this camera here. If you want to be a part of the Men's Summit or the Women's Summit, just inbox us. We like to have different faces, different perspective. You don't have to be a professional in the field, We just want your advice. We just want your experience. We just want your good conversation. So you could just tap us in there and tell us, next time we're having a Women's Summit or a Men's Summit, you want to be a part of it. We'll make time. We love to hear your input on this. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, it's true. It's true. While at it, guys, I want to big up this event in New York at St. Jude's Community Center at 409 Maple Street. That's the Deacon Mitchell Support Group. They're having a big bingo. It's only $20. Jackpot is $1,000. And that goes down on Saturday, April 23rd at 6:30 p.m. Payment can be made via Zelle. You could also make it by PayPal. Absolutely no double parking. And that takes place at the St. Jude's Community Center, 409 Maple Street, Brooklyn, New York. For more information, you could contact Frances at 917-282-9405. That's 917-282-9405. You could win $1,000. Yeah, 1,000 big ones. Tickets only $20. All right. If you need more information, it flies also on the Facebook page. What else? You guys, are you into music? You want to record? Are you an artiste? Looking for a professional recording studio? Well, you don't have to look no more. Because you know why? Riders Studios is here. Yeah, Riders Studio, professional recording studio, and a whole lot more. Check out Riders Studio. Call 718-701-5720. That's 718-701-5720. We got a few ads to run. Jacoby, run those ads.
The wait is over. The time is now. The time is now. Get ready for mass. Get ready for mass. Get ready for mass. We are back.
Hey, Ad Promotion presents Creme, Episode 2. Yes, it's Creme de Creme. Once again, featuring 3 top DJs out of Brooklyn, New York. Oh yeah, and this time, we'll be doing it with DJs 10 Speed, Frankie from Spoiled Rats, and of course, Coolie Chat, the bigger boss of King Heartbeat Sound. This is all going down at 1762 Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn, New York, on April 23rd from 10 p.m. At the door, $25. Free parking is available. Creme, Episode 2.
On Sunday, May 8th, Mother's Day, New Face Promotion presents Retro Bingo. Up to $5,000 in cash. 5 $200 games, 2 $500 games, 1 $1,000 game, and the jackpot $2,000. Retro Bingo going down at 178 Newport Street. Music by DJ Flawless, No Apology, and DJ Hot Stepper. Your tickets cost $40. More at the door. For more info, call 347-304-5453. Zelle or Cash App is accepted. Start time 7 p.m. It's Retro Bingo. Mother's Day, Sunday, May 8th. Lots of giveaways for the lady. Retro Bingo, up to $5,000 in cash. Sunday, May 8th, Mother's Day.
Yeah. Again, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for being a part of our programming right here. I want to say special thanks to our executive producer, Lois JJ, always holding it down. Our team in studio, we have Jacoby on the mixers, making sure that everything runs and everything functions properly. In the chat, we have our moderators, Deanne Fraser, big up yourself. I know you're on vacation, Deanne Fraser. Be safe out there. Also, Kibbs and Gail Charles. Thank you guys so much. Oh, one last thing I gotta tell you about Celebrity Cruise Grenada. You gotta keep your ears open for this one, guys. Celebrity Cruise Grenada. That's coming up Carnival Thursday in Grenada. My big birthday party is coming up on the 13th. More information and tickets be available very, very soon. Keep it locked, because you know when the ticket drop, that's it. It's gonna sold out. Sell out, gone. Thank you guys again. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Peace out. Bye-bye. Good night.
Right along, so it's happening here.
Came over here. What does it mean? You know, I grew up in what I guess you call a typical family.
We break all the stories, and that's just a fact. And that's why everyone has a story to tell.
Right along live, yeah, it's the real deal.
Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3823.